Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Agent Box. 11 o'clock every Thursday. Sorry, my voice is a little bit rough this morning. I'm still feeling very jaded. In fact, I got a message from Amy Baker at the Pie, basically saying that, are we feeling jaded? And I'm like, yep, absolutely. Well, look, my name is Sham Ghani. I'm your host. Along with me is my co-host,
Abir here.
How you doing, man? You
I haven't
okay?
lost my voice because I haven't been to ICEF this year.
Well, the reason why I'm feeling jaded is because we're just back after 4 days of being in Berlin. We went out to the ICEF digital event, I think last Friday, and then got back yesterday after the ICEF event itself.
I
Extremely
have
busy.
heard lots of rumors, lots of stories. It's time now to hear it straight from the horse's
No,
mouth.
there's going
What
to be
really happened?
no revelations, no washing of dirty laundry on this show, man. In fact, what we want to talk about today is a bit of a debrief of what went on at ICEF. Look, for those of anybody watching this show doesn't know who or what ICEF is, certainly what ICEF Berlin is, you need to go and have a look because ICEF Berlin is the flagship event of ICEF, which is an organization that brings thousands, literally thousands. I think it was just under 3,000 people there at the event over the last few days. So thousands of agents and universities and service providers all come together. It's probably the largest event in our calendar in international student mobility, international student recruitment. It's probably the biggest event, and it is one that actually is my second year at ICEF. I got a different perspective this year than what I had last year. Last year I wasn't sure what to expect. This year it was a little bit more. My expectations were a little bit more measured in terms of what I want to achieve out of the event. But Abir, what have you been hearing, man?
I have been hearing a lot. But first of all, thanks to all the lovely calls and texts who missed me at ICEF. I hope to catch up with you guys soon. But I think there is a lot of interesting topic this year in ICEF, wasn't it?
A lot of interest in what?
Interesting topic of discussion that went round in ICEF, especially
Yeah.
starting with AI and different trends in the market. I think I'm all ears about like what has been happening.
Firstly, I will say there was a lot of people that couldn't make it this year for whatever reason, one reason or the other, and obviously there's a limited number of people that you can take to any event. Maybe next year we'll take a much bigger delegation. You were missed there, Abir, no doubt about that. And it's I've spoken to a few people who weren't there this year that were there last year, and everybody's watching what's going on. Obviously people want to know about the gossip, who was there, who looked good, who didn't look good. Do you know what I mean? And all of that sort of stuff. But what's always interesting for me, a massive highlight for me personally on a very personal level, is I met up with a chap called Gabriel Providel. And Gabriel was my line manager years and years ago. He still weirdly looks exactly the same, but he is one of my favorite people in the industry. He's an absolute inspiration. And it was really good for me. I really enjoyed spending a little bit of time with him, But okay, so let me talk you through some of the stuff that I thought was interesting. Don't forget, obviously, we were there at ICEF Berlin. Now ICEF Digital. That was an interesting event. Last year we were there. We were headline sponsors of the event last year, and it was my first time, kind of event where people are talking specifically about digital and stuff like that. But this year, what Martin, who's the Chief Business Development Officer for ICEF, he opened the session with a really interesting, kind of statement. What he said was that, look, this is about people. Although it's ICEF Digital and you expect that the whole thing is going to be about technology and just technology, but actually what he put on the table right from the very beginning is that it's about people. And that resonated with me because, as you know, Abir, I have a particular position. I think we've discussed it on this show where that recruiting students, or our industry in general, not just recruiting students, but our industry in general, it's about it's about students, it's about their lives, it's about, you know, students taking a massive leap and deciding to travel overseas to study in whatever fashion that might be, you know. So for us to kind of put technology on the table almost as a robotic, algorithmic way would have been wrong. And that's what ICEF Digital did, which was brilliant. It was talking about what we do every day, what we understand to be our roles, but how we could use technology to kind of improve that, and how can technology make that any, you know, sort of better. And I personally, I hosted a campfire session on, you know, sort of specifically addressing agents and whether technology, adoption of technology is a challenge or should, you know, would be seen as a challenge. And the question that came up is, you know, is AI going to replace recruitment? And the answer to that was 100% no. You know, that nobody believes that that's what's going to happen.
I was really intrigued by your speech on that campfire talk that you had. So those of us who were not privileged to be part of that, if you could just give us a brief. I think the title of that talk was really interesting. Like
Yeah,
if opposition to
yeah.
technology
I mean,
was your
yeah.
biggest enemy.
The controversial statement that we put out there is you know, is the adoption of technology the biggest competitor? So in other words, what that means is, you know, it's the backdrop to that discussion is recruitment an art or a science? Okay, but can you, you know, if you don't adopt technology, if you're not all data driven, you're not, you know, kind of got the best tech, you know, kind of you know, in your offices, in your, you know, on your mobile tablet, laptop, whatever, are you going to lose out? Are you going to end up, you know, sort of going out of business? And I think the answer to that question definitely was that no, that is not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is that if you don't understand how technology fits into your business, then you might lose out, you know, because everybody else, it's not replacing you as an agent, but it's enhancing what you do. Okay. So
But let me ask you a question, Shambai.
yeah,
For example, if I'm like a regular agent, right? And
yeah.
I use technology on my day-to-day use as well. For example, I email my colleagues at university. I do like video calls. I use like Google spreadsheets and whatnot. So I'm using technology. So when you're talking about I need to adapt to technology, what do you necessarily mean?
Okay. See, you describe technology that you
Mm,
use to manage
mm,
your day. Okay.
Yeah.
We're talking about technology to engage your students. And
Mm,
if you accept the fact that students, you know, even postgrad students are generally, you know, students in general are far more tech savvy. You know, this generational kind of issue that my 12-year-old is probably going to be a hell of a lot more tech savvy at 21 than I ever was. Do you know what I mean? Or even somebody who's 21 today. You know, he's got another 10 years to go before he decides to go, if he's going to do a master's, if he's 18 when he goes off to university, his level of tech savviness is going to be so much more than mine. So that's the thing that we're talking about. That are you using technology to engage your students, not just to manage your day-to-day work, everything you talked about, emails, you know, having a website, you know, sort of spreadsheets and all the rest of it. This in my mind, this is not even tech. Okay, this is just basic tools that we're using to kind of live in the 21st century. When we talk about tech, you know, sort of engaging students is about, you know, nurturing your leads, you know, and keeping your applicants warm, making sure that, you know, they have more information that than what they need almost to make decisions at certain points in that student journey. If you understand that and you look at the technology that's available and you have the awareness of being able to select what technology is going to work for your business, that's what we're talking about. And there's another problem in what I've just said, which came out in ICEF Digital, is how tech savvy are we as agents to be able to choose the right technology to bring on board? Because I can't go from one extreme to the other, where if I've got no technology, I don't even know what technology is out there. I don't know what any of that technology does, but I decide to go spend a load of money on adopting technology. That's going to be completely useless. And in fact, what you're going to do is at the end of 12-month period, you're going to conclude that technology is actually a waste of time. Because you've spent
That's a very interesting statement.
Yeah, I mean, so you as an agent, me as an agent, we need to understand or need to recognize whether I understand what technology is. Do you know what I mean? And what technology is required? What kind of technology do I need? And what's out there? Do I get that? We talk about AI, like we all know what AI is. I'm almost 100% sure that I don't know what AI is. Okay, you know, AI is not just ChatGPT. You know, there's a whole industry that's being built, and it's being built. It's not concluded. It's not like somebody, Elon Musk didn't come out of a cave and say, right, here's AI, take it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? You know, this is
yeah. Well,
that's
you
evolving.
mentioned Elon Musk. He's one of the happiest person right now in the earth, isn't he?
Of course. You know, that's a different story altogether. But you know, that's why he came to my mind, because I know. But do you understand what I mean? That, you know, it's thinking about how you can incorporate that kind of tech. You know, incorporate technology. First of all, understand, you know your limitations. Speak to specialists who know something about technology in our industry, and actually, you know, try and be engaged with events like ICEF. There are so many tech firms there. There's so much information out there about what kind of tech can help you. If you're not engaging with those people, if you're not there, if you're not, you know, kind of really kind of collaborating, understanding what's going on, you're never really going to know what technology to adopt. Now, I'll give you an example here. I've spoke to God knows how many agents over the last few days, right? And these agents are telling me, like, basic thing like CRM. We were there promoting the CRM, that people think CRM is technology. And to me, the CRM is like the email that you talked about, or the Google Sheets that you talked about. That is about you organizing your day-to-day activities. How you use your CRM, there are interesting bits of tech that you can use to actually enhance your CRM and make your CRM work harder for you. But these are detailed, nuanced, you know, kind of ideas that if the average, because what I felt last year, I felt that a lot of agents came along to something like ICEF, and all they're interested in is, let me get new clients, let me get new universities. And I guess a lot of agents are doing that. They're there meeting universities, looking to sign up new you know, partners. But the fact that they've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people there who can support their business, I felt this year agents were far more engaged in that part of it. That yes, they're here to try and get a new client, but that's not what it was all about for them. You know, because I asked agents that, look, what are you here to achieve? What do you want to get out of being here? You know, and they're like, look, it's about knowing what's going on. I mean, I met some newbies, like first-time people that went to ICEF. These guys were overwhelmed. One of the guys actually said to me, I feel overwhelmed that there's just so many people and so much stuff going on. I had no idea. And that
you just bottom line the fundamental issue within our industry. We are not aware of what's going on in the industry, what's the market trend. And that's why I think the technology is even more important.
Do you know what surprises me? It makes me a little bit sad, but you know, and it is you know, it is an issue to talk about, which is that there are some agents out there that are at the top of the funnel, right? These guys are recruiting thousands of students. They are massive. They're huge. They are completely plugged in to everything that's going on, right? The people that are making new stuff, or the people that are influencing the sector, are completely plugged in with those agents. And then you've got a whole bunch of agents that are just doing their job, that are just in market X, you know, talking to kids, trying to process, you know, applications. They just don't know. They're not even close to those influencers. They're not even close to the people that are making seismic changes, you know, in the sector, changes that are going to impact them, actually, to be honest. They just don't know. They just, you know, when I think about agents in South Asia, I think about, you know, Indian agents, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis. there are even actually sub-Saharan African agents. There are a handful of those agents that are plugged in to what's going on. And the vast majority of the others, they think, oh, I'm going to ICEF, so I need to come back with, 10 new clients, or get some European clients or something like that. But everything else that was going on, how much engagement did you have with that? Because there is so much happening that you really need to kind of, take stock of what's going on. I think the thing that I felt, though, the people that I spoke to, this is something that came out for me this year as opposed to last year, that the agents that I was talking to were interested in the peripheral stuff. Okay. I was talking to our strategic partners, TransferMate. I know that TransferMate has spoken to a lot of agents who are thinking about how are their students making payments, so you've got that whole industry of payments kind of processing. I was talking to a lot of agents about Sam's Pay, about the fact that we have a commission processing software which can impact their lives positively real quick, but they need to have those conversations with their universities to basically say that, look, I can't cope with delayed payments anymore. I need faster payments from you. But it's being aware of what is actually going on and who's doing what. Then you can start to make your business, kind of much more in line with what's going on with the sector, those top tier people at the top, but also just makes you more money, makes our life easier, makes you a better agent, I think, I'm trying to separate things in my mind to kind of talk about it in a coherent way, but it is just that craziness of hundreds and hundreds of conversations that you're having with people, both during the day and in the evening, of course, as well. ICEF do a fantastic job of making sure that everybody's feeling comfortable and having a good time, but those evening sessions where you're making connections, you're talking to people, it's so kind of full on that it's a little bit of a challenge, man, a little bit of a challenge. It's takes a little bit of time to process what's actually going on here. I think what else can I tell you?
It sounds like you had a great time.
Yeah, you know what, I do enjoy it. I did enjoy it last year. I certainly enjoyed it again this year because there is a lot of people that I know there anyway. There's a lot of people from the sector that are at one point were doing like standard recruitment jobs. Now they're working as consultants. They're working in different parts of the industry, and it's just really interesting to kind of find out how they got to there and what are they doing, which part of the business they're working on. But I'll definitely tell you, man, as far as I'm concerned, the discussions that we've come away with some really positive, collaborative ideas from ICEF. Definitely, there's no doubt about that. The other thing that I was a little bit surprised about is the sheer volume of students that are moving around the world that are not on most agents' radars, which is summer school group of students. Okay. I thought summer school was something that was quite a small thing. These are under 18s that go to the UK, go to Canada, go to the US, go to Australia for 5-6 weeks, at a time. I was amazed about the amount of money involved in that business.
Yeah.
Which is
a lot of international students have these sort of programs like a prestige thing, especially in the markets that I have worked in. And to be honest, we used to do a lot for them as well, and now it has gone bigger and bigger and bigger, and it has become
from a university. You see, these kids are going to independent schools, boarding schools to do summer schools. Okay, because certainly at the universities in the UK, right, the ones that I've worked at, summer school was seen as a bit of a pain. Okay, we used to get agents occasionally say to us, let's put on a summer school, but it seemed like an enormous amount of effort. And obviously the universities aren't geared to look after under 18s. So you've got all of that. You need to think about all the safeguarding stuff and everything else. and then it's, you've got to worry about where they're going to stay, what they're going to eat, taking them round on tours. It seems like a huge, kind of headache.
It's like a school warden job,
Yeah.
24/7.
That's why I've always thought of it as not being such a big thing. It was like, okay, yeah, you might get some kids going.
But the main, I think the outcome of this school, like summer schools, is basically, I think a lot of universities are doing this on a bigger scale because they are thinking to try to convince the student and come and study at a full time at a later stage to give them like a full experience.
Catch, the thing is, though, from what I understand, a lot of them are quite young. A lot of them are like, 12, 13, 14-year-olds that are going out on these summer schools. From a university perspective, I'd think, well, if they were 17 or 18, yes, definitely I'd be interested. But at the 15, 14,
I think the competition at the university has gone fierce, so they are trying to nap them at a young age.
I mean, yeah, that's not a bad strategy, to be honest with you. It's not
taking a page out of Arsenal's strategy of recruiting players.
But that was a big thing, man. I was surprised at the number of the number of agents and institutions, schools that are promoting this kind of stuff. I mean, one guy was telling me that I think they've got something like 14 centers. This is not even a school, right? That's what they do. They do summer schools. Okay, they've got 14 centers, and there's something like 1,100-1,200 kids per center per year. So that's just one guy telling me that. Okay, and the cost is not cheap. It's not a cheap thing. So there's a huge amount of money involved in that part of the business. And again, it was something that I wasn't that aware of. I certainly am now. And in fact, we've got some plans to do some focus group work with some of these schools, because we had a lot of them, some of the schools and also some of the agents as well. We had a lot of the agents coming to us asking about the SAM CRM. And whilst the SAM CRM works for them, it doesn't quite work because they're dealing with a different type of customer. So what we are hoping to do is make some changes, do some focus group work first, and then figure out whether or not we can adapt our CRM to kind of promote it to that sector as well. But yeah, man, look, oh my God, 22 minutes. How did that even happen, man? It's just like we started talking. But yeah, look, anybody listening to this, I don't want this to be like a plug for ICEF, although I do love the guys there. I think the team are absolutely fantastic. And I do feel it is one of those kind of events that if you're not there, then you're missing out. So I would encourage people to kind of to find out for next year. But it is, a place where if you're going to attend, have a strategy, something beyond. If you're an agent, something beyond just, I want to increase my portfolio, but actually go out and have a look and see what people are doing, observe what people are doing. I think that was my advice to one of the guys that I met. I just said to him, look, really, if it's your first time, just go around and have a look and see what's going on. Even standing, listening to people talking can be a massive thing. And of course, attend the seminars. There are seminars that are happening throughout both the days. Definitely attend these things, listen to what experts are saying about the sector, and you come away much more kind of equipped.
And if you have missed a Berlin event, don't lose heart too much, because there are regional events happening in your region as
Absolutely.
well. So there are like African ones, Indian ones. You are off to US as well in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because that was the other thing. I spent a decent amount of time, sort of catching up with the folks at Pi, because they were there at ICEF as well. And yeah, we're off to the US in a couple of weeks' time to do the Pi Live North America. So there are lots of industry events going on, and these are big ticket industry events, but nevertheless, being aware that these are happening, finding out, even if you can't go, look, at the end of the day, right, we live in a digital age that, literally everything that was going on at ICEF, I'm sure right now, is available online. Okay, so the message I'm trying to give here is make yourself aware. Don't have your head in the sand and just think this is not for me. I'm busy, trying to make some money, promoting my agency to potential students. Take the time to have a look and see what's actually going on. because you might be a little bit surprised to sort of see that, look, and it's not about the fear of missing out or anything like that. It's just making yourself aware of what industry influencers are talking about. What does the next 3 years look like in our industry, or the next 5 years look like in our industry? If you're a serious agent wanting to still continue to do business, 100% you need to be thinking about these things, because you can't be stuck in your own way. Sorry, go on, Abir.
No. I think the message is just that if you are in for the long run, if you're not like a seasonal recruiter, if you're in for the long run, just keep in the loop.
Exactly.
Of the industry.
Exactly, man. And there are a lot of people saying a lot of stuff in the industry. You know, it's not all just about what's the commission rate and what's the, you know, kind of turnaround time. These are, you know, smaller, more detailed things that we might worry about on a day-to-day, but there's a much bigger picture of what's going on. I mean, the fact that Trump's come back into power, or he's going to be, you know, from January, the impact on the US is going to be significant. Already yesterday, I was hearing people talk about this, saying that I think 16% of a group of students that were asked about whether they wanted to go to the US to study, which is a fiercely popular destination for students across every market, 16% of them said now they're going to have rethink because of the fact that Trump's in power. So these kind of things are important. These kind of things are not irrelevant. Because when I'm sat, the next student I'm sat in front of, and they're debating which, you know, country, destination, forget about which university, but which destination they want to go and study in, you know, the fact that Trump came into power yesterday is an issue, you know, or is it an issue for your client? Do you even know whether it's an issue for your student? You know, is that something you're going to be talking about? The fact that the Canadians have made it, you know, 10 times tougher to go to Canada. You know, how are we talking about this? Or are we just recipients of what is happening? You understand? I don't want to be a recipient of what's happening. I want to be, at least I want to be aware, but I also want to be part of that conversation. I want to actually, I've got opinions, I've got experience and expertise that I feel should enter into those discussions. And I've not even really been an agent. You understand? I've just worked with agents. Whereas if you're an agent out there that you've been doing years and years of this recruitment, or you just started out and you're fresh, you're new, you know what you're dealing with, you know, feel that you need to be part of that conversation, not just a recipient of what's going on. And suddenly, you know, oh gosh, okay, right, so I can't recruit there anymore. I've got to think of somewhere else. I know, I'll go to ICEF and see if I can get another contract. You know, that's not necessarily the way to kind of think about these things. Look, we took too long today. It's almost half an hour that we've been having a chat about this. But guys, today's topic has just been a quick debrief about, you know, the ICEF Berlin event. And the reason why we're doing that is because it is such a big industry event. It impacts, you know, and affects potentially, you know, every agent that's working in this space. You know, so it is something that's quite important. And I definitely encourage everybody to head over to the ICEF website, have a look and see what not just the gossip, but also what the actual sessions were about, what people were talking about. I definitely would recommend that. But I can't do a show of the Agent Box, neither can Abir, without mentioning the fact that we are sponsored by SAM CRM. And SAM CRM, you know, the strap line is that we are a CRM system that's been built by agents for agents. If you head over to sales at, or if you want to email, find out more, sales@samcrm.co.uk, or you can head over to their website, samcrm.co.uk, and you'll find you know, information on what's going on there. Definitely check that out. Like Abir and I have said, having a CRM is just a tool. If you haven't got that, then you're not really running a proper agency. So you need to go and look at it. You don't have to buy ours. You can have a look, see what's out there, but get yourself in the know when it comes to stuff like this. Okay. With that said, I know the producer put it up there every Thursday, 11 o'clock. We try and come to you live. Definitely we're on next week. I think the week after, though, I'm going to be in Boston, so probably won't be able to join in. I'm going to leave it up to the producer. Abir, you never know, you could be holding the fort on your own.
Nah, man.
Come on, you gotta give it a go, man. You gotta give it a go.
What if they like me even more? Then
Well,
we
then,
won't be
hey,
here.
then I'll just have to look for another job.
This is us. This is our show. So without you, I don't think we're going to go ahead with the show. But I'll have a chat with the producer.
Well, guys, we'll be back next week and we'll give you an update as to what's happening the week after. Okay. So with that said, thank you very much indeed for tuning in today to the Agent Box with me, Shamgani, and my colleague and friend Abir. We'll be back next week, 11 o'clock, Thursday morning, with a different topic.
And like Trump would say, make student recruitment great again. Take care.
Later, guys. Don't ever say that again, man.